Hey everybody, this is Blood Archer 91 and or CJ's Headspace from all my other social medias. Had another Yu-Gi-Oh idea that I've been toying around with for a little while, and I thought that I would showcase not only the list, just trying to get the camera exactly where I need it. Not only going to show the list, but at a later time, either within the same video or in the next one, I wanted to upload some duels to my YouTube channel. See if I could make people, like pick their brains, as well as maybe get people to be inspired in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, so this is a weird one. Let me just separate this by engines. And I know that sounds weird off the bat because I'm saying engines. Oh boy, now I gotta look through. There we go. But it's something I came up with over the overall a lot of time that I've been playing, and essentially got inspired once the Angelechy archetype came out. But for the first, whoops. I'm sitting here, and I'm not gonna edit this. It's just however it is however it is. I like to be myself personally, so I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. So the first engines, again, I'm working on getting a new camera stand. The one I have is not exactly working the way I want it to, so bear with me. But the first engine in mind is 3 copies of Psy Reflector, 3 copies of Emergency Teleport, 1 copy of Assault Beast, and 1 copy of Assault Mode Activate. The reason for this is simple. Especially trying to do this outside of just main phase is, something I like to do because it messes with people, messes with your opponent. But essentially this, without committing as much as possible, get you a level 8 synchro. This deck is an amalgamation of 3 different engines, but what they do is all the same, which is involves synchroing. And it essentially is able to go through, make level 8s, level 10s, and 12s like nobody's business, just from my own ideas cultivated together from engines that work, you know what I mean? All right, so that's that engine. Next, we're going to go to probably one of my favorites because of the fact that, I always had a soft spot for this archetype. Essentially because just the way it plays, the art style, but those that might be watching this video might already know. First, let me just lay this out here. 3 copies of Centurion Trudea. So yes, it is playing as one of the main functionary engines. So that is a little engine, a little splashable engine I have with the Assault Mode Activate. The main core, or I would say like probably just has the most cards in it, would be Centurions. So 3 Trudea. Let me just get this over here. 3 Primera. For those that know, your main tuner, one of your main starters. She can also be a starter / extender if you already have the field spell or some other combination of the Centurion cards, at least in my experience. But in combination, very important. For the one-ofs, in terms of the monster lineup, everybody has different preferences, but what I found to be the most consistent that works: 1 Gargoyle number 2, 1 Chimera. I have not gotten Chimera's effect to resolve yet in all the matches that I've been winning lately amongst my my team top deck syndicates and all my training. But it's also just she's good as a level 4 as is. I'm pretty sure when I need her effect's going to be useful. And 1 Centurion A3. I'm also running Emblem of Oath. So with A3, if it's pronounced differently, my apologies, but that's how I pronounce it. The fact she can be used as a non-tuner, but still is level 4, that's great. The fact that in the duration of the combo going back and forth, you're going to set up a Centurion card in the graveyard and an Embla card in the graveyard, since I'm playing Embla Oath, to circumvent and extend out and just facilitate that engine, whether it's what I call crystallizing a Centurion straight from the deck or setting one of the 2 traps that I run. All right, that's it for the Centurion monsters. Then we have 3 copies of Embla Oath. Whoops, excuse me. Like I said, it either just turbos out like Crystal Beast, one to the spell and trap zone, or sets one of these the traps straight from the deck, which is like the counter trap or the normal trap that I run. 3 copies of the field spell and complement that with a copy of Terraforming. I know the extra deck monsters also search for the missing, pieces, but I have as many ways to just boop, 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 get everything as possible. And then, last but not least, the counter trap, True Awakening, and Centurion Phalanx. True Awakening is great for the last part of my deck that functions in, well, the 2 last parts of my deck that function in between this, because I'm going to have monsters in my back row. That's the secret. And so it's just a free searchable Omni Negate. And then this, Phalanx, being able to spot and remove something until the next turn, deal with it later, that's not that bad. It could be better, but it's not bad in terms of I've seen it come up where it legit, you use it at the right moment, they don't have an extender, and then that's it. It's Quaitons. Not to mention, later on, you can banish it, and it's like, damn, okay, I need to make a level 12. Or I need to be able to continue playing. Banish it and revive any Centurion Synchro in your graveyard. Loses 1500 attack, but depending on what you're doing, you don't really care about the stat loss. You probably care because I run the level 8. So getting her back, she's a Synchro Tuner. Essentially circumvents a lot of things, and you're able to pump out another level 12. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, and she has her own effect to bring herself back if necessary. If one of your other Centurion cards leaves by your opponent. So that's that engine. Next, we have probably the funniest, because when I saw it, I immediately was just like, okay, how is this going to work? And I'm waiting for the next wave of support. Yeah, technically you're part of that. So for the monsters, 1 Witness of the Ancient, since I'm running the level 8 synchro that allows you to search. What is it called? Glitch Clutch Null Gainer. 3 copies of the field spell. Technically, when we get the new support, I might have to cut the field spell down, since there seems to be so many ways to search for the field spell, like within the archetype. 1 copy of Disturbance. This actually won me a game against Makanko, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to I couldn't destroy his stuff, couldn't target his stuff. But I was like, oh, this will work. And the funniest trap that I love traps, but the funniest trap I've ever used in my life. Angelechy opening to E4. Literally saying, hey, I know you went first, but because I opened this ridiculous ass trap card, I'm going to go first anyway, because in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not your turn or my turn, it's our turn. And if only people realize that statements, depending on the deck, is more true than anything else. So yeah. And then last but not least, this deck is 43. I was tinkering with it for a while. So the last cards in the deck are just a couple of staples and a card that's very important to my heart since I love zombies. Call by the Grave, Foolish Burial. Just bear with me. 3 copies of Delta of Invitation. And for those that know, on activation, it dumps any level 5 higher zombie. And if, let me just make sure, if a monster is added from the grave to the hand while this is in the graveyard, add it back to the hand so it can then be used as discard fodder. Since one of the main thing is I'm having to draw and discard a lot over the duration of the combo, and it can change based off of what I have. Like, did I open this? Did I open this? Did I open this? So just as I'm trying it because that's the way I can get my cards back. One copy of Pot Avarice. The monster that I'm sending with Delta or Foolish, 2 copies of Eldritch the Golden Lord. Its effect in hand is decent. Its effect in grave, it just so happens to basically, it is a level 10, and for the extra deck purposes, that makes sense. The last card that I'm testing out is You're Finished. Have not resolved it yet, but an associate of mine has resolved it with a different strategy that he had, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. This is my flex spot. Technically, the deck should be 42. This is my 43rd card. This is what I've been trying. We'll see what happens. Now for the extra deck. So we'll go with the Angelechy's first, so I can go through all of those. I'm not running every single one. I'm not running Bastion. So 2 copies of the Pawn. The Pawn is great for his own effect, even though I wish it was a quick effect. For your turn, his effect is really decent. Hey, I'm going to move over there and promote myself like a pawn. But essentially what it does is you target a monster your opponent controls in this adjacent column. So if it's in the extra monster zone on the left, it's referring to your opponent's first or third column. And basically what it'll do is it'll try to banish it. If it does, it'll go to one of your opponent's main monster zones. Then the second effect triggers. The control of this card changes. It will bounce itself back to the extra deck. And then you get to special summon one Angelechy from the extra deck. Now, it could be this one, or it could be one of the others. But it's also important that it's a level 2 Synchro Tuner. Now, this deck, I would say, is not really floodgatey, but it can do floodgate-related nonsense. 2 Destrier, a.k.a. the Knight. On your turn, again, the fact that it's completely generic is another issue here. Destrier, you can target a monster in another column, banish it, and if this card is placed in the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, add an Angelechy spell from deck to hand, which means we'll be getting more support later. And when your opponent, while it's treated as a continuous spell, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 to them when it resolves. I've had this where my opponent spent like 6,000 life points, and then I had just enough resources to make it so he couldn't hit me. And then on my turn, I was like, damn, that's the most expensive-ass turn I've ever seen. Next, we have 2 copies of Shatranga. A similar effect, target a monster your opponent controls, banish it. If this card is placed in the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, add an Angelechy trap from deck or grave to hand. And if this card is treated as a continuous spell, your opponent can only attempt, keep in mind that word, attempt to use 5 monster effects per turn. So even if you negate them, it still counts towards the use, their limit. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I will post a separate video of me actually showing test hands and combos, just because I think that might be a better idea. Next, we'll show off probably my favorite of the bunch, the Centurion extra deck monsters. 1 Auxilla, 1 Legatia, and 1 Prima Primus. Auxilla on Synchro Summon, Special Summon, add a Centurion card from deck to hand. During the end phase, you can place one of your non-Synchro Centurions that is banished or in your grave in your back row as a continuous face-up trap. It also has a continuous effect of face-up cards in your spell and trap zone cannot be destroyed by card effects, which means both your Centurions and if you have the Angelechy's doing what they do, they have a layer of protection under them now. Not to mention the field spell for Angelechy is kind of crazy. In the combo and more depth and in-depth explanation, I can explain that. Because there's some funny interactions. Centurion Legatia continues to affect your monsters with 2,000 or less attack cannot be destroyed by battle. That can come up. I know for a fact it came up at least once or twice for me so far. But if this card is special summoned, you can draw a card. Then you can destroy the monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, their choice if tied. Thankfully, the destruction is I'm trying to think. It's optional, but the point is that you're drawing, so you're constantly having to replace and keep as many options in your hand for if and when things go wrong. And then during the end phase, so with both of these, it's either player's end phase. You can place one non-synchro Centurion from your hand or grave back into your spell and trap zone and continuous trap. So these are both really amazing. But they're also level 12 for a certain other monster that I don't understand why isn't it banned. But since it isn't banned, I'm going to take advantage of it. The level 8 Synchro Tuner. It's also a spellcaster, which is a little weird. You got Dragon, you got Machine, you got Synchro, but whatever. Cannot be destroyed by battle unless it was special summoned from the extra deck. Which is so interesting. So essentially it has a revive effect. If you bring it back with its revival effect or you use something to revive it, then it just all of a sudden cannot be destroyed by battle. But yeah, if it's synchro summoned, you can add an emblem card from your deck or grave to your hand. Then you can destroy 2 cards, one on each field. That comes in play with the Angelechy field spell and some other interactions. So it's kind of interesting. If a face-up Centurion card or cards you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while she's in the graveyard, she can special summon herself back from the graveyard. Next, let's just call it out. So for the extra deck, the reason why I said why isn't it banned, Crimson Dragon. I apologize for the common rarity. My secret is in my my Lightsworn deck, where I originally came up with the idea thanks to the inspiration of Jesse Cotton. But Crimson Dragon, meta-wise isn't a problem. Design-wise is a problem. I think that's the best way to explain it. But because this deck can crap out level 12s like nobody's business, I found it very easy to make Cosmic Blazar, which is a usually hard monster to summon, unless you're, doing this. This is the easiest way to do it. You can banish this card to activate one of these effects. You banish it to the end phase. When your opponent activates a card or effect, negate and destroy. Or your opponent would summon a monster, negate the summon, destroy. Or your opponent would declare an attack, negate the attack and the battle phase. Not to mention he's 4,000, 4,000. So outside of a kaiju and certain other cards, he's pretty damn annoying. So yes, that is one of the main tricks this deck can do very easily. Another level 12 that I really love, Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. The term that I use, that me and Jesse Cotton use, crystallization. It can crystallize a monster on the field or in the grave, put in the back row. So it can either help you or get rid of a problem as long as it can be targeted. You can't use that effect the next turn, unfortunately. And then during the battle phase, you can target a monster and one continuous spell in the field, destroy them. That does come up to a degree. The effect comes up more in Crystal Beasts, but I'm just saying that because the first effect can crystallize your own stuff as well, might not be a bad idea because they work in tandem. And again, also the 3,000 attack, that's not bad. To search that level 8 monster that works with Angelechy, the 1 copy of Glitch Clutch Nullgainer, on Synchro Summon at a level 8 or higher monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand. The second effect, you can target a monster with 0 attack in your grave, special summon it, but negate its effects, and it can't be used for any sort of summon. I don't ever use that effect. I use him with Witness of the Ancients effect to generate a token. Since the token is light, 8 plus 2 is 10. I use that to summon Chaos Angel with both of the effects. Miss me with that other crap. And then last but not least, I'm still working on the side deck. But I know Synchro Zone is going to be involved. Because who's going to see that coming? You know what I mean? Oh, you're not playing Synchros? You can't attack. And then... So, it's a pretty decent card. Provided that the whole strategy, is Synchros. The last is... I think it's... Enigmaster Packbit. So, if this card is synchroed or sent to the grave, you can target a monster in your graveyard or one face-up monster your opponent controls, discard a card. If you do, place that monster in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. And then, during either player's turn, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon one monster card from your spell and trap zone. That effect can come up. I haven't done that combination of things yet, but I was thinking Vengeance Dragon, as long as this was summoned properly, put this in my back row, and then while it's in the back row, later on, uncrystallize something else. So that might be worth looking into. And then last is just, the tokens, the tokens for when I summon Witness of the Ancient, or in the rare case that Delta Invitation, I actually get a token out. Not that I need it. Because you could hard summon the level 7 Synchro that way. So yeah, that is the list. I will post the deck name in the description and or in the name of the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please drop me a follow, drop me a subscription on YouTube, or simply comment your thoughts, and have a good day. Take care, guys.